Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Amirah binti Muhammad Khairuddin. This is a presentation on the industrial training that I have done starting from 1st March of 2021 until 2nd July of 2021. This is the outline of this presentation, which I will cover starting from the supervisor's profile until conclusion. From USIM, Prof. Sharifuddin has been assigned as my supervisor. Meanwhile, from the industry, Ms. Raihana Samaun is my supervisor along this industrial training. Moving on to the organization profile, the organization that I applied to for this industrial training is Zenzin Agri Organic Food Sendirian Berhad that is located at Kluang. Zenzin is one of a leading distributor and retailer of organic produce. As a member of IFOAM, most of Zenzin's products are being certified by Department of Agriculture Malaysia and also NASA. At Zenzin, there are 60 varieties of fresh produce, which are organic vegetables and organic fruits. The example of the products are like baby spinach, Japanese choysam, sweet potato leaf, banana, apples, and also dragon fruits. Apart from that, Zenzin also have more than 300 types of dry goods, for example like noodles, herb and spices, condiments, and nuts. All of Zenzin product can be obtained from their outlets, selected supermarkets like Ayunbik, and also from dealers in Malaysia and Singapore. Now, I will continue with the task that has been assigned for me along this industrial training. Mainly, I need to construct the acceptance criteria specification for the incoming raw material at Zenzin. This specification is expected to be utilized as in-house control so that the food safety and quality at Zenzin can be preserved. This specification is constructed based on a clause as stated in ISO 22000-2018. Apart from that, this specification is mainly for the dry goods product only. So there are 12 groups of dry goods that require this specification, which are beverages, condiments, flour and powder, fungus and kelp, grains, noodles, nuts, oil, ready-to-eat snacks, spreads, supplements, and lastly, vegan vegetarian. This is the clause that have been stated in ISO 22000-2018 and being utilized as reference to construct this acceptance criteria specification. So, in order to construct the acceptance criteria specification, I have referred to several references. Firstly, I refer to product specification. Product specification is a compulsory document that need to be provided by supplier upon ordering or purchasing their product. This document contains information like name of the product, the origin, the microbial and chemical characteristics, the storage condition, the shelf life, and also declaration on any presence of allergen. Apart from that, I also refer to national and international standard. This standard focusing on the microbial contamination that can present in a food. For example, NPRA has set a microbial contamination for herbal tea. So I refer to this standard as references to set the microbial limit for herbal tea product at Zenzin. Other than that, product like spices, I refer to standard from other country, which are New Zealand, Middle East, and also Europe, because there is no specific set for spices at Malaysia. Other than that two references, I also refer to Certificate of Analysis and Lab Test Report. This document contains information of result tests for microbial, heavy metal tests, and also toxin. This document may be provided by supplier and also Zenzin themselves. On this slide, this is one of the acceptance criteria specification that I have constructed for tea product at Zenzin. Apart from the main task that has been assigned for me along this industrial training, I also have a daily task that need to be conducted. Firstly, I need to assist in monitoring pest control at processing area. There are 7 stations for light trap that I need to inspect daily, and I will record what type of pest that present on the form provided. The most common pests that present are like fly, ants, and also cockroaches. I also will arrange for the fly trap to be changed whenever needed. Other than that, I also have a chance to assist external pest controller to do service once a month for the bait and glue trap to be changed, specifically for rodents. Furthermore, I also responsible for recording cold room temperature at Zenzin. There are 7 cold rooms that need to be monitored 3 times per day. 4 of the cold rooms are designated for the fresh produce, meanwhile the remaining are for the dry goods. The temperature for the fresh produce need to be monitored below 10 degrees Celsius, meanwhile for the dry goods, it need to be monitored below 17 degrees Celsius. I also need to report to my supervisor if there is any peculiarity on the cold room. For example, like if the temperature are beyond the limit, so I will report to my supervisor for further action. Here are some of the pictures that I captured at Zenzin. The first line is the cold room storage for fresh produce and also dry goods. The second line is the pest control mechanism at Zenzin, and then the middle line is the data logger that being placed in each of the cold room for taking temperature. Then there are some challenges that I have encountered along this industrial training. Firstly is to adapt with the work and industry environment. This industrial training is actually my first work experience. So the expectation that I have in the lecture hall might be a little bit different compared to the real situation at the industry. In order to overcome these challenges, I try to quickly understand the workflow and also the culture at Zenzin. Apart from that, I also make an effort to be friendly with the staff at Zenzin so that I can do the work assigned more comfortably and can do the work perfectly. Next, the challenge that I face is in completing the task assigned, which is constructing the acceptance criteria specification. I have the knowledge on the ISO 22000-2018, however, it is not thoroughly each of the clause that I know. So I need to do a lot of reading to fully understand the task assigned, and also a lot of accumulation of information need to be done so that references like the product specification, the certificate of analysis and so on can be accumulated and used as references. I also will refer to my supervisor, Ms. Raihana, and food safety team leader, Ms. Mimi, if I have any inquiry and also ambiguity for this task. Continue with the knowledge and skill that I acquired from this industrial training. Firstly, I have an idea on how the documentation based on ISO 22000-2018 are being made. Even though I only focusing on one of the clause in ISO 22000, I also have the opportunity to see other documentation that have been prepared by the food safety team leader. Next, I also have the awareness on the existence of national and international microbial food standard. Before this, I only know the Food Act 1983 and also Food Act 1985 in Malaysia as a standard. But after have completing the task, I know the existence of other food standard that can be used as references. After that, I also have the real experience on how the food industry work. Like I said before, the expectation that I have in the lecture hall slightly different from the real situation at industry. Apart from the knowledge that I obtained, I would say that I have obtained a problem-solving skill because I have success completing the task assigned, which is to construct the acceptance criteria specification. Lastly, from this industrial training, I also got to polish my communication skill, because in order to get information like the product specification, in order to ask my inquiry and also ambiguity, I need to communicate with staff at Zenzin. So that are the skills that I have acquired. As for conclusion, I have completed my 18 weeks of industrial training at Zenzin. The knowledge that I really value from this industrial training is firstly on the awareness of availability of other food standard that can be used by food industry, and also I now have the idea on how the documentation based on ISO 22000-2018 are being made. I also agree that this industrial training can help students to improve their soft skill like communication skill, problem solving skill and also teamwork. That is all for this presentation. Thank you for your time and attention.